I train to live, and I live to train. When my muscles can't take it anymore, that's when I begin again.
Alright, the first thing we're going to do to use this motion capture in Iclone is to download this avatar in a T-pose. You can find it here. We're going to click here and download this directly, meaning the avatar in a T-pose. This is the one we'll use, so we can later import the FBX into an Iclone character. I'm going to save it first, and now I'm going to download it as an FBX. That's the one I'm always going to use when working with Iclone. I'm going to download it as an Unreal FBX. So I've already downloaded the T-pose with this avatar, and now what I'm going to do is a video motion capture. For that, I go here to the video section and I'm going to choose this one. Here the motion capture has already been done, and as we can see, it's quite accurate, even the hands and feet overall. So now we're going to export this FBX. We also export it as an FBX for Unreal, even though we're going to use it in Iclone. Alright, the FBX of the motion capture has now been exported. Now I'm going to open Iclone to import these two things. Okay, I am already in Iclone, so what I'm going to do is apply the motion capture to this character. Let's transfer this FBX into the Iclone character. And when this window opens, what we need to add here is the T-pose avatar that we downloaded first, which in my case was this one. You only need to download this one once. After that, you'll always include the same one for any motion capture you do. Once it's there, click Convert. And that's it. The motion capture has now been added to this character. If we click on the character here, what we'll do is improve their contact with the ground by activating this option here. One of the things we can add in Iclone is facial animation, which is extremely easy. For now, I'm going to remove the character's animation to position them more front facing, and I'll do a quick facial animation just to show how easy it is to do here in Iclone. With the character selected, I'm going to go here where the options are, and here I'll choose Create Script. Here I'll select Apocalypse, and here I'll add an audio file that I downloaded from 11 Labs. Once I have the audio there, I'll have it generate the text for me. I could have also typed the text directly here, but it should be automatic. What it did here was place each word where it's being spoken. Let's see.
I train to live, and I live to train. When my muscles can't take it anymore, that's when I begin again.
So it's already aligned. Let's click Apply. And we can see that, well, the lip animation is there, but the facial animation for the rest of the face is still missing. Here I'm going to activate what's called Befend to see the audio here. I'm going to move the animation part over here, and here we can see the audio. Now I have to add the facial expressions to this, which, as I mentioned, is also quite easy. For that, I have these two options, Face Puppet or Face Key. Let's do it with Face Puppet. Alright, and I'm gonna use this face option and this one here, which is supposedly one of the angriest expressions. And here, I can change the intensity of that expression. If I do a preview and press space here, we can see that the eyebrows and mouth lower, giving it a more angry expression. Although, well, the tone isn't really that angry because I did it with 11 Labs. Obviously, if it had been done by a person, it would match better with how it should be spoken, but anyway. Let's record with this expression.
I train to live, and I live to train. When my muscles can't take it anymore, that's when I begin again.
Alright, so I added that there, but I can also make small adjustments. I'm going to go back to the beginning here and, for example, move the eyes.
I train to live, and I live to train. When my muscles can't take it anymore, that's when I begin again.
And I'm going to, for example, make it end with a bigger smile. That's why I'm going to use, for example, face key. Let's see, for example, this one. To see the expressions, I need to have the expression section enabled here. And we can see here this one that I applied, right? But so that it's not the same throughout the entire timeline, here I'm going to do a reset so it goes back to the other one and it's only in this part, right? That does that. For example, here I can also make one eyebrow raise more. For that, I go here to the muscle section. It creates a keyframe for me there, and here I set it to 0, so it keeps how it was speaking. Live and I live to train. When my muscles can't take it anymore, that's when I begin again. And let's make it end a bit happier, right? So I'm going to delete this part here. Alright, that's done. So now all we have to do is I'm going to play the animation here again, and the facial animation will be combined with the movement animation. Okay, let's see how it turned out here.
I train to live, and I live to train. When my muscles can't take it anymore, that's when I begin again.
And now, let's see what other option I have with Iclone for animation, which is to add an animation but have it continue from where the last one ended, in other words, not go back, for example, to the beginning of the previous one. As we can see here, I'm missing a part because the one I captured only went up to here. I can record another video capture with something else and add it to this one so that it continues from there. So for that, we're going to add another FBX with a different animation that I also already captured from a video, and we're going to add it here. I'm going to add this FBX, which is of a person running. And here as well, since it's a capture I made with Meshkapade, I also need to specify the avatar in the T-pose. So I'm going to use the same one I had already downloaded. Here we can see that this animation starts with the left foot on the ground. We're going to use it from there, and we'll go to this option called Motion Direction Control. We're going to tell it to use the left foot as part of the continuation, and we'll click Align. Let's join them there. Let's do it again, but it could also be the one I used, for example, in this video where I filmed myself running on one hand and on the other doing that sword jump. Then I combined the two animations and the sword jump ended up right where the running finished. Well, what I'm going to do now is join these two. I'm going to merge these two animations. And the other thing I wanted to show you is that another advantage of Iclone is that if I want to make a modification to the animation and have it persist throughout the entire timeline, what I can use are additive layers. For example, here I'm going to add a new additive layer and I'll select a part of the body with this option. I'm going to choose, for instance, to rotate, and if I wanted to separate it a bit more, in this way the modification I applied will be maintained throughout the entire animation. Another option I have is if I wanted to correct the position of the fists so that they always stay closed, I need to go here to the animation section, to the hand section, and all these options will appear, which already come with Iclone, and I'm going to choose this one, the close fist. By applying it from the beginning, it will be maintained throughout the entire animation. Alright, see you in the next video.